The King has delivered his first Christmas message, paying tribute to the late Queen. We can get some more reaction now to that speech that happened a little while ago. We will be repeating it here on Sky News throughout the afternoon. But to talk about it, former royal butler and former member of the royal household of their Royal Highnesses King Charles and the Queen Consort Grant Harold. Good to see you this afternoon. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
The royal family gathering at Sandringham today. We saw them attend church earlier, as is the tradition, well-wishers turning out to see them. Talk to me about the significance of Sandringham and the poignancy of this year. This is the first Christmas without the Queen.
It is, and Sandringham was somewhere that was very close to the Queen's heart. You know, everyone talks about Balmoral Castle, but Sandringham equally was as well. I remember going there on many occasions, and it was obvious that it was somewhere that was important to the Queen and the late Duke of Edinburgh, and equally the King. I remember travelling to Sandringham often with the King, and it's somewhere that he loves as well. And I think it was really important that the tradition of the royal family gathering at Sandringham this year was important for him, in a way, for all the family to get together. And I'm sure, like a lot of loved ones that have lost loved ones this year, to remember the Queen somewhere that she treasured.
There'll be so many families going through the same thing this Christmas. I mean, you know, a lot of people say the royal family are so far removed from us, but in other ways they're just like us. And in the Christmas message, the first thing the King did was address his late mother and father. He stood in the church where they are buried, and he said, look, you know, this will be a poignant time of the year for everyone who has lost loved ones. Can you just give us a sense of just what this first Christmas will be like? I think a well-wisher speaking to reporters earlier at Sandringham said, look, it's going to be a sad time and a happy time for them. That's just how it's got to be.
It really is. And as you said, the significance of actually doing the Christmas address near where his parents are being laid to rest, I think that was quite important to him. I'm sure that was probably even his decision. And again, Sandringham is something that's very important to the royal family. I mean, the tradition of the royal family gathering together goes way back. You know, it was back centuries. And the Queen was very much all about family. That's something I remember. I was lucky enough to attend different events as a guest. As well as being a butler to the family, I was lucky enough to attend different events in different residences. And when the family were together, they, as you mentioned, they're like any other family. When you put aside the fact that they are the royal family, they're like the rest of us. They laugh, they cry, they hurt. And I was lucky enough to be around them and the Queen and witness that. And I remember thinking, what an amazing family, a very close family. And I mean, like the King will miss his mother, the Queen very much missed her late parents as well, you know.
Can we talk about the practicalities of a Christmas day with a royal family? I mean, unlike the rest of us, they had a butler. You know, as you said, you spent many celebrations with them. What is their Christmas day like? Because obviously once they come out of the church and they disappear into the grounds of Sandringham to enjoy quiet family time, what do they do? Is there a big, long table? Do they have Secret Santa? What happens?
Well, the bit that might disappoint a lot of the viewers or listeners is that the actual, obviously Santa comes on Christmas Day for the royal children, but for the adults, they open presents on Christmas Eve, which is a tradition that goes back to Queen Victoria and Prince Albert during afternoon tea. So the royal family, the last members of the family arrive on Christmas Eve, which is when they do the presents during afternoon tea, so very civilised. So today is very much about the religious side. Obviously, we see them going to the church. The Queen famously and privately would go to an earlier service, and then obviously you've got the traditional service where you see all members of the royal family attending together. When they return back to Sandringham, it'll be a time to have lunch, like many of us will be doing today. A lot of us will be having dinners, but obviously certain families will have lunches. The royal family will have a traditional lunch. And even though I was never actually at Sandringham when the Queen was there at Christmas, traditionally I was always told that they would have, like the rest of it, would be turkey, but there'd be goose and other options as well. So it was again, it's like anybody that has a Christmas meal. We all have different variations and ideas, but the royal family are probably a bit more traditional, as I mentioned, because their traditions go back centuries.
Oh, just thinking about buying for a relative if they're the Queen or the King just gives me Christmas present anxiety. I've had it over my husband and he's not a king or a queen. But talk to me about what happens. Talk to me about what happens in terms of the family mucking in, because you think back to stories about people spending time with the Queen at any of her royal residences, and you get a sense that she does muck in. If she goes for a picnic out in Scotland. She brings the picnic basket and unpacks everything. Does anyone do the washing up? Is there any of that goes on, or is it quite formal in that sense on that occasion?
It's interesting. The picnics are quite an interesting subject because I find it amazing. They don't have any staff that would travel with them. They would go on these picnics, famously at Sandringham and Balmoral. And the Queen, there's actually footage of the Queen, which is getting the salad ready, making the salad herself. And you've got Prince Philip, the late Prince Philip, at the barbecue, Princess Anne busy doing the barbecue bit. And they almost designated the jobs to each other. And this continued. I had many stories of them with the family when they'd be having barbecues or family get-togethers on occasions when they would just do it themselves. And this is what I mean by them just being like anybody else. And that's what I used to pinch myself, because when I mean, it's a few years now since I worked for the family, but when I joined them in 2004 and got to know them, that was something that always amazed me, was how down to earth they were. And as I said, just like the rest of us. And it was fun. It was amazing to spend time around the family and the Queen, who I absolutely adored. And as a child, it was a dream to one day be in her presence. Little did I realise that 15, 16 years later, that I would be actually looking after her from time to time. So I was very lucky and witnessed that they are just like any other family.
Oh, well, they'll be enjoying their family time this afternoon. Grant Harold, former member of the royal household of their Royal Highnesses King Charles and the Queen Consort, and former Rob Butler. Thank you so much for your insight this afternoon. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You're watching Sky News. Coming up after the break, we'll be reflecting on the King's first Christmas message following the death of his mother, the Queen.